Hi there everyone. So welcome back. Today we are going to do a look that I like to call sunset. So I've already prepped my skin with the Chemist at Play hyaluronic acid and the minimalist moisturizer. I'm going in with the Bourjois, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, the primer. It's the healthy mix. It's long lasting and it is my favorite. I use it like gold. So until and unless I really have to, I'm not going to use it. So next we are going to go in with the eyebrows. For the eyebrows we are going to use the PAC eyebrow pomade, and we're going to have a little brush that I use, and also I tend to take the product, and put it at the back of my hand so I have more control over the amount of product I'm getting on the brush, because I don't want a heavy brow. I just want to fill in the gaps, and I don't want my brows to look too heavy because we are doing a colorful eye look today, and I want the brows to be as subtle as possible, but also at the same time to make sure that I have brows, because as you can see, without the pomade or an eyebrow pencil, I don't really have much eyebrows. So we're just going to go in, stipple that in, and as we do that, I also go in with this spoolie, make sure that I brush the product through, and we get an even brow. So once that is done, I go in with the Smashbox Brow Tech to Go. I have finished the pencil, so I just use the gel, which really does, no matter what product you put on first, it keeps your brows in place. After that, we are going in with the Estee Lauder only on the eyelids, because I just need to brighten up my eyelids a little bit. I use a damp beauty blender just to blend the concealer in. Once that's done, we are going to go in with the eyeshadow. That's my favorite eyeshadow brush, and we are going in with the Revolution and Sophie X eyeshadow palette, and another palette that I found, it's the NK makeup palette. So in the Revolution palette, I go in with Cookie Dough first as a transitional shade. I always try to start out with a very nude, a very neutral color first, because it just helps even things out and it gives your eye look the depth that it needs. So one rule that I have really learned with eye looks is that blending is key. If you don't blend in your eyeshadow properly, it looks like a hot mess. So blend, that is the most important thing that I can say. Now once we've got Cookie Dough blended in, I am going to go in with mulled wine, because I want to give the look, even though it's a bright colored look, I do want the outer corners of my eye to have a little bit of depth to it. And yes, I am wiping my face because it's hot as fuck and I really cannot take the heat anymore. Hence I'm doing the voiceover, because otherwise I would have the cooler blowing straight in my face and y'all wouldn't be able to hear a thing. The summer and me, we don't match, we aren't good. And right now, I hate it. I hate the heat. So after this, we are going in with shade 21. It's a nice pink shade, and we are going to take the shade 21, and we're pretty much going to start from the outer corner of our eye, going inwards, and we are going to blend out the mulled wine that we've already put on, because we want to make this look as bright as well as give it depth. We don't just want color, right? We want it to have a little bit of depth to it. We want the look to be evened out. So at this point, it's just blending away. Next, we are using the NK palette. I got a little bit confused. I mean, I didn't know if I should go in with one shade or two, so I decided to mix the pink shade with the maroon shade. This palette doesn't really have names for their shades, so I'm just putting this in on the outer corner of my eye, just in that little crease there, because I don't want to blend it out too much. I just want a little bit of darkness over there. Now I'm going to take a little bit of rose water on a Q-tip and clean the inner corners of my eye, because I do want to make it a little bright over there. We don't have to get all of the eyeshadow off, just as much as we can. That's more than enough. And after this, we are just, and right there, that's where it went in my eye. Hurt like a bitch, but we get over it. Now we are taking the Maybelline eraser concealer, and I'm just cutting a small little crease. I know people don't really do cut creases anymore, but I still find that, you know, it really takes your eye look to the next level. Makeup isn't meant to have all these rules. It's meant to be creative. Now at this point, I completely forgot that I wasn't recording, so I'm just going over what I did. I took the yellow shade from another palette from the NK makeup brand, and I just wetted the brush a little bit and went in with the shade yellow. Now I'm going to blend the shit out of this using vitamin C from the Revolution palette, and I am blending because I do not want any harsh lines or any harsh crease to show up on my eye look. I want it to be flawless. So when you want your eye look to be flawless, blend. Number one rule. I know I've said it so many times, but that's the best way you get an amazing eye look at the end, because if you don't, you just get all these lines, these creases in your eyeshadow, and it doesn't really look good. So we're taking a Q-tip again, cleaning up the inner eye and outside. Luckily with the Revolution palette, there isn't a lot of fallout, so that's a very good thing. We're lucky with that. That's something they do. I did my eyeliner off camera because eyeliner is my enemy. I can do it perfectly well on others. I just cannot do it on myself because I'm blind as a bat. And then I'm taking the Huda Beauty foundation in Amaretti, and I use it on a kabuki brush. I think that's what they're called. I do not like to go too heavy, but you know, it gives good coverage. And with a full coverage foundation, I tend not to use a concealer because it tends to make my under eyes look more cakey. So I'll just blend in the foundation underneath my eyes and I'm good to go. Because if I add concealer on top of this, it's really going to crease. I don't know what it is about me. I've tried every trick. At this point of time, I'm tired, my hand hurts, and I want to go to bed. But, you know, let's get this finished. And always, please, people, blend your neck. There are so many people that I can just make out the line that they haven't blended their foundation right down their neck. Next, we're going in with a little bit of bronzing. For that, we're using the Makeover 2 palette, right? And we're just going to bronze upwards. Always make sure whenever you're bronzing upwards, because that way you give your face a lift. You know, you can make out the difference on one side of my face and the other. So I don't normally go in with contour unless I have time for it. Otherwise I don't. I have realized over time I have become very impatient when it comes to makeup. I like to get it done as soon as possible. So once that's done, we are going to hide our double chin because we don't want anyone to see that. So a little bit of bronzing there too. Next is the MAC blush. I've had this for such a long time. I absolutely love using it. And sometimes, I do tend to go a little heavy with the blush, but we're going to try not to do that today. So again, even with the blush, always upwards. It lifts your face and it just gives such a beautiful end result. And even if you do end up putting a little bit too much either of blush or bronzer, you can always go back and correct it either with your foundation brush or your beauty blender that has a little bit of your foundation remaining. And here I have put my hair up because I'm done with it, I'm over it. So to finish off the look, I don't really believe in baking, so I'm using the Fit Me loose finishing powder, and I just dust my face with it. It does, keep my makeup in place longer, especially in this weather. So the last thing, that there are two last steps. One is this ancient looking thing. This is part of the Kylie Cosmetics kit that she had released years ago. A friend of mine had bought it for me, and I have very few pieces remaining of that kit. But this, I know it's probably expired, but I cannot stop using it because look at that. I mean, just look at that glow. I cannot seem to, ever get over it. So this is my go-to because it blinds you, and it's really, really, really good. And it's the loose, powder that they released. I think it was her first or a second release. I'm not really sure. It was that long ago. So I just highlight my cheekbones a little bit above on my brow bone. We're going to go in with this lipstick and we're going to finish off the look. I have no idea what brand this is, don't remember. So once that's done, here we go. That's the final look. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Take care. Bye.